Hey everyone, Charlie here with Advent Tech, and today we're going to cover the OneScreen Write app. Now, we've done a video on the Write app in the past, but we're going to do another one. Why is that? Because OneScreen did firmware update towards the end of 2024, which made their whiteboard app just that much better. And they call it OneScreen Write. It's this one here. It looks like a whiteboard with a squiggly line through it in case you need help finding it. Now, you notice when I pulled up my whiteboard, I actually have a green background. And why is that? It's because I was messing around with the themes. And under themes, you can do an image as the background if you wanted to. So I'll just show you that. And that way that image kind of remains static and you can draw all over it. And while you can move around, lots of different pieces that are on the board, the background itself will actually stay static if for some reason that made sense to do for you. But let's just go ahead and look at some other themes really quickly. There's lots of killer templates, whether you're teaching language arts and you need lines, or you need a music sheet, or you need a various sports field, right? If you're the football coach, I'm going to show you something else, football coach, you're going to love. But there's lots of different options for themes that you can put on with different backgrounds, different colors. It's really easy to switch out. And then if for some reason you want to go back because you really like your puffin, you can do that. Or we're going to just go ahead and say we want a really basic template with a color that's not going to wash me out too bad while we're doing this demo. You can import, you can export, you can save as, you can do a lot of different things. The stuff that typically gets imported would be picture files, PDFs, or, of course, other whiteboard files. Let me show you what happens when you import a PDF. And I'm going to import it from my Google Drive, actually. This is integrated with my Google Drive. I'm signed in, and you can see how quickly and easily I can navigate through my Google Drive. Let's do PDF on the area of a triangle. Now, when I import a PDF that's multiple pages, it'll actually put those multiple pages on multiple sheets, even though I have lots and lots of real estate on this one sheet. But in case I want to, have all these, you could open a 20-page PDF, right, and have all those on separate sheets if you wanted to work on them separately. But over here on the right-hand side is sort of my page navigation. I can add new pages, or I can just kind of open up this window. And this sheet here, I want to go ahead and move this sheet over to the page that has the other sheet on it. So I just hit this copy to button, and it'll push it over to this page where I've got this other sheet. That's great. Now I can go ahead and get rid of these other ones. There's a blank sheet, and then there's this one, and we're just back to our main worksheet now. One of the other cool things about when you pull in a PDF or an image or anything you pull in, as you start kind of, doing math and you start kind of writing down answers, some whiteboard software is not intelligent enough, right, to be able to move objects around with the answers, right? So you write and you have images and you have text, but they're all separate files. So, if you were to just move the PDF, that could happen, right? So if you're wanting to select all, then just go ahead and select all. And again, it's such a simple thing, but it's just such a great reminder of how OneScreen kind of thinks about the small details. You can move everything at once if you want to. I mean, I could even select both PDFs and the writing, and I can move them around, and I can do what I want to do pretty intuitively, right? I can just select it all and move it around. I can clone it if I want really quick, have two kids come up at once and work on the same worksheets, and I can delete them really easily as well, right? So just wanted to kind of show you when you import something, whether it's an image or a picture, we'll do some more picture importing here in a minute. It's pretty cool how easily you can manipulate it. And then everything you manipulate, you can kind of keep together and copy and do whatever you want with it. There's a few more buttons over here on the left I think are worth looking at, although we could spend more time showing you how to import and export tools, but I think that's pretty standard for most of these panels. List is kind of a fun one. List is any recently worked on whiteboards, right? So yesterday I was working on this Microsoft licensing whiteboard, right? And spent a lot of time on it. And I can save that, obviously, and pull that up later. But as long as I close down the panel and I was still working on this whiteboard, it'll be available in my recent list, right? It's pretty handy because that way something I was just recently working on, I can access quickly. Or I can, of course, go back to the whiteboard, or in this case, a green board that we were just working on. This is one of the coolest features here is the share button. You hit the share button, and within a couple seconds, it spits you out a QR code, right? So if you've got a smartphone or some other device that can scan a QR code, not that there's anything interesting on the screen right now, but you'd have the ability to download. It'll take you to a website where you can download the image of what's on the whiteboard. So this is great. I mean, especially think about doing a professional development day with teachers, writing a bunch of stuff, getting assignments for kids, high schoolers or something, and then hitting this button and saying, would everybody come up here quickly before you leave class or leave the gymnasium, scan this, download this whole lesson, right? So they can just take it with them right away. And obviously I could upload the whiteboard and send it out to everyone from a Google Drive or Microsoft Drive, but it's just a very cool feature that's built into the whiteboard and available at all times. All right, so now we need to start going through these many very interesting options. But I thought it might be worth first showing you some more ways you can bring content into the board, right? Before I go into all the ways you can manipulate the content. I'm going to swipe up from the bottom and actually open up YouTube. We just had the Super Bowl, and I'm going to show you something really quick. All right, so now football coach, I mentioned earlier that I was going to show you why you're going to love this whiteboard. Notice I can do a couple things. Notice how I can pause a video and it's got a very clear image, but I can also write over the top of a YouTube video using the pen. And this is a simple tool that OneScreen calls pen to annotate. And I can kind of highlight, hey, the quarterback is going to eyeball this receiver and keep an eye on the guy in the top right side. And we're going to talk about did he or did he not get a touchdown here in just a second. So you start playing the video again. You watch that guy in the top left-hand corner, catches the ball, looks pretty good. The refs actually call touchdown, right? How exciting is that? But then they do the instant replay. And let's pause it right there, right? So then football players, did he make a touchdown or did he not? Even though the ball crossed the line and into the end zone, the knee went down before he reached the end zone. And, again, like I said, I'm a football coach. We're talking about plays. We're talking about the Super Bowl. And one thing I could do really quickly, if I wanted to, is I could actually insert this. I can upload it to the cloud as an image, or I can quickly insert it right into my whiteboard app, right? So I'm putting this right where I want it inside the whiteboard app, this image. And I'm going to go ahead and crop this image, right? Because I don't want a lot of this other noise here from YouTube. And so I'm going to edit this down. And now as a football coach, here I am able to manipulate this image, draw on this image, talk about this player, talk about this play, and what happened. Why did the refs think it was a touchdown, but why was it actually not a touchdown? And again, just very cool, the ability to quickly pull stuff out of YouTube. Let me show you other ways you can pull in content. So we're just going to open a browser. So I've got a browser open and we've opened it to a totally different subject, puffins and puffin migration, right? And this is just the OneScreen browser. Looks very clean, lots of good information. Well, I want to pull some of this information over, but I want to be able to do it dynamically right from the website. So what I'm going to do right now is actually split the screen. And you'll notice it automatically adjusts the browser size for the half screen, which is kind of cool. So now I can access this information and it looks pretty clean. And I can copy the stuff over from the page. And let me show you a few different ways I can copy content over. So I'm going to click on a picture. I really like this picture. And I'm going to actually hold it down. It downloads the file to your temporary storage. But if you've done that, you can also just drag the image over really quickly, right? How cool is that? And now we're going to go find some interesting information about the puffins. So let's say puffins are very sociable, often nesting in enormous colonies. Okay, that's interesting information. I want to pull that over and put it right there. And let's say and actually put the text in front of or behind the picture that I wanted it to go over. So what I can do is I can change the color really quickly. And I can kind of move it to the bottom or I can move it to the top of whatever the image is or the other object on the screen, right? So again, just lots of little thought through features by OneScreen where I can quickly decide if I want it to be at the top or the bottom. I can even, with an image, I can flip the image if I want the bird looking the other way. And there's just a lot of little features like that that OneScreen has thought through, which we love, which makes it so easy to pull over information, right? So I can do the same thing. I could pull over more images, more text, or let's say there's a big chunk of text I want to pull over, but it'd be a little clunky to try to copy, and paste this. What I could just do really easily is open up the capture tool. So OneScreen has this great built-in capture tool. I like these fast facts. So we're going to copy over the fast facts, but we're going to copy them over as an image. I just think it's going to look a little cleaner. I can save it. I can freeform draw what I want to copy over, or I can just hit this handy insert to whiteboard button. And now my fast facts are right over here, and they're an image that I can manipulate and move around and move to the front, to the back if I want to as well. So look how easy it is with the OneScreen browser and the OneScreen whiteboard to just pull information over. And it's always been this easy, as far as I've been working with OneScreen, to pull things over. Well, they decided to take one more step recently and make it even easier by inserting the search feature right into the whiteboard. So now if I hit search and I want to pull in whether it's a picture or it's a video of puffins, we can do that. So I'm going to search for puffins, and I'm going to go ahead and pull several pictures that I really like right into the whiteboard really quickly. And let me show you how quick and easy it does that. Now, it inserts them kind of all over the page, so you got to clean it up a little bit. Probably resize them because they come in pretty big, but they're really clean pictures, high resolution. This is a Google Safe search as well. I've been asked that a number of times. Kids are not going to find anything they're not supposed to. And let me show you how easy it is to do this with a video as well, right? So very similar process. Just going to search for puffins, and we're going to hit go on that. And let's find the video we really like. Okay, adorable Atlantic puffin. And we're going to go ahead and insert that video. Now it inserts it as a thumbnail, right? So I can manipulate that thumbnail. I can move it around. And unlike the picture, right? If I just click on a picture, it gives me all these picture options, which is great. When I click on this thumbnail, it also has the option to play the video. And if I hit play on the video, it'll open it up inside a window on my whiteboard, and you can have a bunch of different thumbnails going to a bunch of different videos. We won't play the video for now, but it's there. It's great. It's easy to access. And it gives you this incredibly dynamic lesson building set, right? Just be able to pull in pictures, videos, fast facts, or text from the web really quickly and easily. Now, some of you have probably noticed that I've been doing something pretty naturally that is a little hard to do actually on most whiteboards, which is I've been using my finger as a select tool. This is actually an option, OneScreen built in. Now, I have heard other panel manufacturers talk about the ability to recognize the difference between the pen and the finger and how you could draw with two different items at the same time. And I mean, just to show you that you can do that with OneScreen as well, right? You can do that where you draw with, a pen and you draw with your finger at the same time. Great. That's a cool tool. But then oftentimes, even when you turn on the sort of finger tool with most of these guys, you still have to kind of hold down, or you have to do something kind of special. Like the options to manipulate the select finger tool are pretty limited, right? Versus when you have finger select turned on with OneScreen, again, you can so easily delete, you can clone, you can move things around, move it to the top or the bottom. You can do lots of different stuff, including, let me show you this other feature that we haven't even talked about yet, which is I'm going to write puffins up here, and I'm going to go ahead and select, and I'm going to go ahead and say smart write this because my handwriting is pretty terrible. So I want it to actually write it out. It'll give you a couple different options, right? As it tries to guess what you wrote out. And then if I like what it says up here, and again, we're building this lesson from scratch, I can even tell it to go ahead and search. So as long as it can read your words, well, whether or not it can read your words, you now have the ability to search the web really quickly from the whiteboard app, from the word you just wrote on the board. So just to show you a different way to do that, let's do tigers. Might be getting pretty sick of puffins by now. And we're going to smart write it. Okay, it reads my handwriting. Thank goodness. It sees that it's a tiger. Let's change the color of the text. It's a little hard to see. And then, of course, we're going to search for that on the web really quickly, right? Oh, picked up sports because that seems to be the theme of the day. So whether it's tigers, puffins, or whatever you're trying to build a lesson on, the ability to quickly write a word, have it interpret that word into more legible writing, and then quickly search for that on the web. Very cool feature. And again, just one of many, many tools I've found inside the OneScreen Write app that I don't find in a lot of other whiteboard apps. Now, there's so many different pens and tools. I mean, I don't want to actually spend too much time on this, but you can obviously do a number of different items here. In fact, let's give us kind of a clean board. So there's a number of, tools that are pretty easy to use. I'm going to make this full size so you can really see the difference between these different pens and options, right? And including how OneScreen is pressure sensitive, which is pretty cool. So just regular old pencil, that's pretty easy, pretty standard. Here's this one that kind of has an angled edge, right? Kind of like a paintbrush. The chisel tip is pretty fun because the chisel will be small, and then if you push down, it'll get larger, right? Smaller, larger, smaller, larger. I don't know if anybody can do that, but that's a really cool feature. Is it can detect the sensitivity of the pressure while you're using the chisel tip, which allows you to do some pretty fun, pretty dynamic writing. And then, of course, there is a highlighter, right? So if you just want to do a highlighter, you don't want to necessarily do a hard color, you can do that. And then there's these various smart writing tools. I've already demonstrated one of them, which is the smart wording writing, right? So again, my name is Charlie. I'm going to go ahead and write my name out up here, and I've got the smart write accessed. And, there it is. There's Charlie right there. If I'd probably drawn it a little better, then Charlie C would have been capitalized. And again, I can choose a different option. If I hit the smart write button and I say, no, I wanted that C to be capitalized, I can change it right there. Or I could delete it and start all over. And I could search the web for myself if I wanted to. But that looks pretty good there. And then there's the smart image or smart shape tool as well. Again, can just be kind of fun if you're just messing around and you want to, put something in there. You want to do an image of a house, right? So I could take my very poorly drawn house and put in a nice little image of a house, or you could do something like, a neck pillow or a piece of watermelon. Apparently that looked like a piece of watermelon. Or again, maybe something more boxy, gives you a TV or gives you, a display. So again, lots of cool little tools. If you want to use the smart write tool, it's right there. If you want to do the smart image tool, it's right there. And let's go ahead and clean the screen now. One thing I haven't really shown too much yet is that you can have two sides to your pen as well. When you're in the whiteboard app, that's where it really works well. And probably a good time to also talk about the eraser at the same time, right? So we're going to do two different pen colors. Let me show you how that works really quickly. Again, I think this is pretty standard with a lot of whiteboards. So we've got the black pen and we've got here, I still have that on Smart Write. And we have the red pen. Now I can go ahead and use my hand as an eraser, or I can do my palm, right? Every whiteboard actually does also come with an eraser if you like that more traditional feeling, and it kind of sounds a little nicer too. And of course, there actually is an eraser button as well, right? So if I'm writing and we'll do a lightning bolt, pretend that's what I was doing. And if we wanted to, we can erase using the eraser tool. We can hit the clean tool. There's lots of different options here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the regular pencil. So you can kind of switch between, you can hit the clean button, use the eraser, use your hand to erase, or use the actual eraser that comes with the whiteboard. And you get two of these magnetic pens as well that come with the whiteboard that are both two-sided, which is really great. All right, we've shown you the search feature. Clean is pretty self-explanatory, wipes out everything on the board. The rulers are pretty fun. So you can insert a ruler really quickly and easily. You want to teach the kids about a 120-degree angle. You can go ahead and put in that angle on the screen. It's going to stay there, but you can manipulate it like you can anything else on the screen. You can duplicate it. You can change the color, right? You can do lots of different stuff while you're talking about angles. Let's look at a few more things you can put in. Shape is kind of fun. You can free form draw a shape, and the board will interpret that shape to the best of its ability, or you can just put in a 2D shape. 3D shapes are kind of fun, right? Whether it's it's a box, or let's say it's a sphere, you can do that. Or I might as well show you this because it's kind of fun. If you want to free form, draw a shape, and then you want it to kind of clean it up for you. Notice how it did that really quick. So I'm going to do, a couple ugly shapes, and it'll clean up the shapes a little bit for me, trying to sort of interpret the shape I was going for. And that works on the 2D shapes, which is kind of fun. Multi-user mode, again, pretty fun tool. You got 2, 3, or 4 panel options. Let's do the 4 panel really quickly. Actually splits the whiteboard into 4 panels. And I can go ahead and do, a black. I can do a yellow. I can pick somebody who's going to have green. And what I could do is I can have kind of a drawing competition or a math competition, put a problem up on the board. And then each kid has their own space that they can kind of draw on. And as long as they don't lift their hand and go draw on their neighbor's side of the board, they'll get their own space, they'll get their own color. And, again, it's kind of a limited whiteboard set. There's not a lot of options here, but it's kind of cool just to know we have that ability, right? If for young kids, maybe for drawing competition, maybe for older kids, you'd put some algebra up there and make everybody try to solve the problem at the same time, a little math competition or something. One thing that has come up as we've talked about the OneScreen board versus other boards is how the OneScreen board actually can do up to 30 points of touch while running Android, right? A lot of the board manufacturers will try to sell you their Windows OPS unit because their Android native system cannot do more than 10 points of touch. And we've tested this multiple times. I don't have enough digits to show you this right now, but on the whiteboard, you can have up to 30 points of touch currently at the same time drawing on the board. That should be more than enough, hopefully. And if you did get the OneScreen Windows OPS, it can go up to 50 points of touch, which is great. That is an option. But I think just even, 30 points of touch running the native OS, which is Android 13, is pretty darn great. A few more things I want to show you. We did already show you the browser. You can open the browser, pull in information, split the screen easily. The mind map is pretty straightforward, right? So if you wanted to, kind of write some kids' names here real quick, right? Maybe you're doing like a classroom rotation. You can quickly smart write the name as well. I don't know how easy that is to see, but I'm just going to write a couple kids' names in here. And it gives me the option to immediately smart write the names. And that way I can build a really quick mind map or maybe seating chart or things like that. And it's pretty easy to manipulate, move around. I can add layers. I can do all kinds of stuff. The camera is fun. Again, the camera is kind of like the other things I've already shown you. I do have a camera in here, but it's really more of a webcam. But this would be fun if you had a document camera and you wanted to quickly take an image of a book cover or somebody's homework or something. You can quickly hit the camera button, opens the camera feature, takes a picture, and kind of like I've already shown you, can quickly dump the picture into the whiteboard. Because I've shown you a lot of things like that, maybe I won't show you that. The formula tool is a new tool, very cool. You can go through and you can, start typing in numbers. You could do a different formula and you can just kind of dump the information right here on the screen. And then you can even go back, edit, change it. And this is kind of fun. Again, if you're teaching math, you can do, numbers, you can do symbols, including some advanced math. The math teachers are probably looking at this right now and geeking out a little bit because you can put in a lot of symbols, you can do different operations, or you can even just do text, right? So if you just want to write, welcome, I don't know why you wouldn't just write it with your hand, but in case for some reason you want to do that, you can just write welcome, put it on the board. And again, you can edit, you go back and edit whatever you put up on the board, but there's lots of good options there. Let's look at just a couple more things. There is a more button here. And in case you want to do a form, right? You want to do some sort of grid, you can put a grid up. Or if you wanted to do a whiteboard note, right? So maybe we do something like homework due this Friday. And then we hit save. And it'll just kind of throw a note up in the top right-hand corner. You can change the colors of the note. You can change the content of the note. You can delete the note. Again, notes can be kind of handy, especially for homework assignments. I think that's a really good way to kind of always have it up there in front of the kids. The last thing you'll see under the more button here is a grid, right? So with the grid, we can quickly kind of pull that up and then I can write my name. And you'll see, again, it's using the Smart Write tool so that if I'm trying to teach a lesson, English arts, right, language arts, I can quickly translate it and can show the kids the uppercase, lowercase, the proper kind of spacing, and everything else. And, again, it's just like one of many tools that is just kind of built in, thrown in for free, the whiteboard app with OneScreen. I think that covers most of it. You've been a great audience if you stuck with me this whole time. That covers a lot of what's in the whiteboard app, although, again, you've kind of already seen that with YouTube, with the browser, with the capture tool, with the camera, it's fully integrated with other apps and other features of the board. And it's only going to continue to get better, right? The formula piece, the camera option, the search for images and videos, these are all recent additions to the whiteboard based on customer feedback. So if there's more things you want to see on the whiteboard, please do let us know or let OneScreen know, because they can continue with firmware updates to make this just better and better. But even as it stands, it does things pretty intuitively that many other whiteboards take multiple steps to be able to do. Just the finger select tool and the ability to use your hand and use the pen simultaneously, pretty powerful. and all the options to manipulate the images and keep them grouped together. Great tools, great features. Thank you, OneScreen, for making such a good whiteboard app. And I hope you found this video interesting. If you have, give us a like or follow, or recommend more content for us to create. Thanks so much.